Welcome back to the channel Break from Fear with Terry Pickens. I would like to thank all the subscribers, all the fans who support us, and we're hoping, I'm sure you are too, that one of these days the DSM folks in psychiatry, before they start a DSM-6, will talk to me and save themselves some time. This includes also the professionals in psychotherapy who are just chasing their tails, and also what has resulted in one symptom of survival mode, ADHD, becoming the big, giant, bad guy when it's just simply a small symptom of survival mode. On this video today, I would like to speak about child abuse and emphasize certain points in child abuse, even in a family of 5, 6, 10, 20. You will always have the children that bear the brunt of the abuse. And I'd like for you to understand that these are usually the sensitive type. So in any family, including if you have children, the more sensitive your child is, the more the abuse will impact them. And what I mean by that, the things that will put them into survival mode has a bigger impact on the kids who are sensitive versus the kids who are like the bull in the china shop. Today, I'd like to speak about one of the quickest entry into survival mode that will eventually create survival mode syndrome, and it's corporal punishment. And I am using a popular icon, someone I just released a movie, and I've seen the movie twice, and I honestly feel I could see it a few times. I'm speaking of one of the greatest entertainers in human history. A man who sold over 400 million records. A man who could command stadiums of 80,000 screaming fans. A man who literally changed the face of music forever. Who is this man? Have you guessed who we're talking? We're speaking of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson spent his entire childhood in absolute terror of his own father, Joseph Jackson. Michael Jackson could moonwalk across the stage and make millions weep with joy. But folks, behind closed doors, he was just a little boy cowering in a corner, trembling at the sound of his father's footsteps. Now, folks, the beatings were daily. The whips, the cords, the threats, the psychological torture was constant, and the scars never, ever healed. Let's emphasize that this is not gossip. This is not speculation. This is the documented and verified painful truth about what happened inside the Jackson family's home, a 600 square feet home in Gary, Indiana. Michael's father believed beating his children was the path to stardom. In Gary, Indiana, opportunities were very limited, and Black families faced discrimination and other rampant negatives. This man worked grueling shifts as a steel operator. He was a man who was shaped by his own brutal upbringing. His own father, Sam Jackson, was reportedly a strict disciplinarian who believed that physical punishment was the only way to raise children. He once said on an interview that he was simply raising his kids the way he was raised. Folks, this is the cycle of abuse. It gets passed down like a cursed inheritance. Now, you folks may ask, what about his mother? Well, his mother was a kind, gentle woman, but she also had a belief from her own religion that a woman should support her husband. And later in her own bio, she admitted she couldn't stop what was happening. She said she felt powerless to intervene. And if you read my book, The Irrational Fear Cure, this is a portrait of the good and bad parent. When you're in survival mode, you stand on extreme points. So with two parents, there is always the good parent, the bad parent. You could figure out who is the good and who's the bad here. This was the environment that Michael Jackson was born into. It was a pressure cooker of poverty, ambition, violence, and dysfunction. How does this fit into survival mode? As I announced at the beginning, corporal punishment is the first key or the first step into survival mode. And some of you may be wondering why. Well, for one, think if you're walking down the street as an adult and a total stranger, or even someone you know walks up and just smacks you across the face. The reaction, of course, you would be in shock, but behind that shock would be anger. And more than likely, if you're an adult, not all of us, but some people would want to get into a fight or hit back. Now, think of little children who are in homes where there is corporal punishment. They cannot fight back. And the survival mode part of it is the brain begins in the sympathetic system. The brain begins to anticipate when the next beating is coming. And this is the tiny component of survival mode where you have ADD, attention deficit disorder, and ADHD, attention deficit and the hyperactivity, because of that anticipation. And I can give you a quick feel for that. You are late getting back from a walk in a forest. It's dark, your phone died, and you realize that you can't find your way out. As you listen and struggle, you hear footsteps behind you crackling off the leaves. You hear something like a gun pointing at you, or you feel it. It's just an energy sensation, folks. Think of what's happening to you in that moment. It's going to be a build-up from 0 to 100 of your own fear as you anticipate someone jumping out at you. And so survival mode is that, but it's every single day. This is the end of the video. As you guys know, I like to keep it short. So please, I'm going to ask some questions and I would like for you to write it in the comment. And also there will be a link below so you can watch this entire interview about Michael Jackson. Question: child abuse should never be hidden or normalized. Truth or falsity? Do the ends justify the means, folks? Did Michael Jackson's father create a star, or did he destroy a soul? You know how I feel, because a soul was destroyed. But give your take on it. Until next time, always good to talk to you guys, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.